Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay, this is one of those dishes that I've definitely heard of as like a funny spotted dick. Oh, like, but I have no clue what it is. It's a dessert, I think. It looks like one.
This is not.
But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to learn. If you are not ready to learn, I guess we're in home ec, actually. Never mind.
Nostalgic British family dessert, and we know you're probably sniggering already.
But we're grown-ups, so we're not going to make any jokes. This is our spotted D.
In all seriousness though, this is an amazing dessert. It's really simple to make, but then it takes quite a long time to cook. We're going to steam it. So to begin with, the dough, we've got flour, suet, sultanas, the main flavour of that. Later on, we'll soak with
Suet. Oh, it has raisins. Okay. I'm not a raisin fan. Let's
custard.
go.
Oh, great. We'll come back to that. But first up, flour and suet.
Tell the people what suet is.
People are always scared of this, but actually it's an amazing ingredient. It's sort of beef fat, and it does taste incredible. So, flour and suet into a bowl, and then just as if you were making pastry or crumble, kind of rub it together to get rid of the big lumps, and then the other dry ingredients. So we've got brown sugar, not a huge amount. For a dessert, it's not that sweet, because most of the sweetness comes from sultanas.
The spotted bit.
The spotted bit, and you're right, everyone laughs at the name.
So where's the spotted dick?
Comes from sultanas.
The spotted bit.
What is he calling those?
For dessert, it's not that sweet, because most of the sweetness comes from sultanas.
The spotted bit.
The spotted
Raisins.
bit, and you're right, everyone laughs at the name.
So where's the spotted dick thing come from?
Oldie worldy English.
Oldie worldy.
Because a couple of hundred years ago,
Yeah.
the word pudding used to be spotted pudding, but pudding
Fair
in
enough.
oldie worldy English kind of became puddink,
Yep.
which they shortened to dink, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of got shortened to dick.
Okay.
So it's spotted dick. So
Right,
essentially the dick just means pudding. Once you've got all those mixed in, then go in with the dry ingredients, so the sugar, all of the spotted part, the fruit, the dried fruit, sometimes sultanas and raisins. This recipe, we've gone to just sultanas. And then
Man,
the other...
Yorkshire pudding, spotted dick. When I think of a pudding, I think of like chocolate pudding, you know? But it has another meaning over here. I'm
Easy.
Really cheap, easy ingredient, milk. So that just goes in, and there we go. It's quite a stiff dough. If it was too runny, sultanas would sink, and then it would cook, and you'd end up with just spotty bits at the bottom. So this is kind of all suspended in it.
Don't want a spotty bottom.
You don't want a spotty bottom, you want a spotted dick. So, next up, take yourself a pudding basin, and to avoid it sticking, just a little bit of butter on the inside.
Okay. Now, Ben asked
Oh,
me
that's smart.
to Google spotted dick, so I did. I know he needs some help with it. And this is what I found. You ready for this?
oh god,
A few
don't
of them
go to
are due to serious
images.
conditions, but please bear in mind that most spots you might find on your penis are likely to be completely harmless. But if it gets serious, you can always be examined by a doctor and they can issue some cream.
We're not going with cream, we're going with custard. But
Okay.
what I can assure you is this has nothing to do with that. This is amazing. You shouldn't be scared of it. Right.
Too far. We got too
So there we
far.
go. You'll see it doesn't feel right the way to the top.
I'm imagining those are chocolate chips. I'm such a child. Okay, sorry.
Because as it steams, it bakes, it rises, but by putting that butter around the outside, we can get the dick out afterwards. And then all we need is basically greaseproof paper.
Carry on. Carry on.
Sorry, that was too perfect.
with it.
I
Go
had to
with it.
laugh.
Next up, greaseproof paper on top, and that will just stop it from sticking.
This bit, I guess people are going to be scared of because steaming a pudding isn't a very common thing to do at home.
I think only because it takes a long time.
Yeah.
But actually, it's so easy, because you saw how quickly we made the dough.
Yeah.
We then put a bit of greaseproof over it, a bit of tin foil
Seal it tight.
to seal it so the water doesn't get in. And then that sits inside of a saucepan, and all you need to do is have something on the bottom just to keep it off the ground.
Okay.
Okay. So, you guys over in, like, if someone were to ask you what is the definition of pudding, what would you say exactly?
And then a little bit of water, and that's going to steam. So it's not bathed in water, it's just enough to steam. And the last tip, and this depends on the size of your pan, if that was to go in there now, then it's fine because it's cold. But later, trying to get that out of there,
You're going to burn
when
yourself.
it's hot and steamy, is going to be difficult. Grab yourself a sheet of baking paper, just kind of form a strip, and that sits on top of there.
So you can lower it in
the whole
nice and
thing
easy
just-
and get it out again.
Lid on, bring it up to a boil, and with the lid on, you're going to trap all that steam in, and it's going to cook. Keep topping up with water every half an hour or so, so
Yep.
it doesn't boil dry, but it needs to steam and bubble away for about an hour and a half.
There's only one thing that we all love more than spotted dick here in the UK, it's custard.
And the two go hand in hand. So our pudding has been steaming away for sort of an hour and a half or so. It's pretty much there. Now we can make ourselves a custard. So, two things.
Yep.
We're going to infuse our cream with Earl Grey. Because we also love...
One of the things I love watching people who are good at cooking is that not just like their technical skills with cooking, which is nice, but how there's no hesitance and there's so much confidence that, oh, well, this could stick here. Well, just put butter around it with your hand. Oh, it's going to be hard getting this out later. Put this thing under it, underneath. I just think it makes me feel like cradled.
Our tea in
Me
Britain.
too. We can't get enough of it.
A fantastic with Earl Grey. Because we also love our tea in
Me
Britain.
too. We can't get enough of it.
A fantastic British tea bag, the Earl Grey, going into a pan
Throw
with
it
all of
in
our
the
cream,
heart.
heat up, and that will just infuse the amazing flavours of Earl Grey into our custard. Literally, a couple of minutes as the cream heats up will be enough to give this all the flavour it needs. Meanwhile, 6 egg yolks and 6 teaspoons of caster sugar. So they can go in there and be whisked up.
So you can just buy normal custard, and could you infuse it as well afterwards?
You can buy ready-made custards. They're actually really handy just to keep a little carton or tin of.
Yeah.
I suppose you could, if you do really strong and intense Earl Grey, a little bit of water maybe,
Yeah.
and leave it to really stew and brew, and then just stir that through the custard. Would be similar, but better off if you can make it yourself. We're using the same method here to make custard we have done several times before. Hot cream, as you whisk, over the egg yolks and sugar. That will start to thicken it, but not scramble it. And at this point, back into the pan to heat it all the way through until it thickens up. Look at the colour now. So the sort of sustaining from the tea, all of the flavour is amazing.
Putting tea
Keep
in.
it stirring
Most
as it heats
British
because you don't
thing.
want it to scramble on the bottom, so kind of keep it moving. And as soon as it's thick enough to be custard, and by that, it's kind of got a spooning consistency where it holds its form on the back of a spoon.
It says spoony consistency.
See little stuff like that. I just love. It's just like, ready.
Spooning. So basically what it means is on the back of a spoon, it holds its
You
line.
just made that term up.
No, it's
that bit's
spoon-
right. You made the spooning bit up.
Spooning consistency. And at this point, grab yourself a fine sieve and a bowl, and you just want to basically transfer it. That will catch the tea bag, obviously,
And
but
the
also any bits that have scrambled too far. If you've been keeping it stirring, there shouldn't be any, but it's a nice little safety net just in case. A thick, beautiful consistency. Right, now for our pudding. And at this point, we can lift it out, and that's why we put that extra bit of greaseproof paper
Now
in there
it
as a
makes
handle.
sense.
Because, and this is the thing people forget, steam is hot. It sounds stupid, but don't go in there with your fingers because the steam will
Steam
burn.
I
is
have done
hot.
that before.
And then take off the tin
Thank
foil. Underneath that, you've got the greaseproof. And that
Oh, now that looks good.
is a risen, beautiful suet sponge. Flip it over onto a plate.
And it'll just fall out.
In theory, remember it's hot.
You put the butter.
There we go, big reveal.
Oh, it worked!
That is a gorgeous,
That is a massive dig.
gorgeous spotted dick. Thick and creamy custard
Okay.
infused with the Earl Grey and a beautiful steaming spotted dick.
Sorted.
Good. All right, I learned something new today. Another British dish down. I did Toad in the Hole, Marco Pierre White. I hope that gets... I have a feeling that might get copyrighted. Probably will. I'm going to do another one on that. See ya.